And I said,
Well,
with SeaWorld out there
what?
and all these other and like the Monterey Bay Aquarium, I'm like, this is bullshit, dude.
Right.
I caused a ruckus.
Why even have fish still in the ocean when we built things for them? Hello.
Yeah. Fuck fish, dude.
Don't feel like watching movies, so I'll watch people guess them instead. I don't know how it goes, I think it starts with your show.
I saw this video, dude, of a catfish this morning
Mhm.
that was flopping its way across sand to try to get to like water. And I almost posted on my story with just the big word idiot because I was like, what are you doing?
What an idiot.
He's like, and everyone's like, this is incredible, like beautiful nature. I'm like, no, that's a stupid fish. That's like, well, I'm gonna go up here now, moron. Go home. Anyway,
Yeah, someone told that fish, why don't you try drowning?
why don't you try drowning a little bit before you start trying to walk? Took us a long time. This idiot thinks he can just do it at the first try. I don't think so. I
Yeah.
hate animals.
I mean, animals are I wish they weren't so stupid.
Me too.
I wish they were a little bit smarter. And I actually went to the Long Beach Aquarium yesterday.
I do really like aquariums.
I love aquariums, and Long Beach Aquarium is cute, and it's a little small, but it's cute, and I had a good time there. But
What'd you
but
see?
I saw all sorts of things. I could tell you what I saw, and then I could tell you my favorite things were.
Yeah, please. Any pusses? Did you see any
I
octos?
did see an octopus, and it was just in there chilling with like some other fish or whatever. And I was like, if you guys are so smart, why the fuck are you in that tank?
Yeah,
And then I was
I guess
thinking,
we won again.
yeah, right? Humans won, ocean zero.
Yep.
And I was like, but it made me think that like maybe it is really smart to be in captivity because you don't have to worry about the dangers of the deep ocean and the oceans,
Yep.
how dangerous the oceans are for sea creatures. Um, and I was like, maybe it is kind of smart to be in there because they're just fed, probably 3 square meals.
That's how I feel. I went to Target yesterday, and I don't think I've left the house for that period of time in like a couple weeks.
Mhm.
And I was like, I just need to stay in captivity because this is insane. Like people are driving like maniacs, and
Oh, I hate people. I hate parking lots. I hate the
they're the
way people
worst.
behave in parking lots. It's like it's really an acknowledgement of your worst fears of humanity. It all
Yeah,
happens in the parking lot.
you get in the store and you're like, oh, we're all the same, buying our toothpastes and whatnot, and then you go into the parking lot and it's like, oh, it's back into the wild, and
Yeah, it really
everyone's
is.
out to get you.
I don't understand. Like, I mean, well, I understand. I do understand, but it's
Yeah,
just really it's crazy. We have you ever gotten into like a aggravated parking
assault.
lot? Have you ever got arrested for aggravated assault?
Not recently, but I have had altercations. I have a I used to think it was like a switch that like an asshole switch where I can turn
Yeah,
into like that guy.
yeah,
But I think it's more of a knob nowadays where I can kind of turn it up and turn it down, but it can get pretty high. And it
yeah,
is like an adult, like what I've noticed about getting older is my like being the trigger of being rude or like responding in a rude way to someone who's rude to me. Uh,
yeah,
when I was a kid, I could never do that, and now I'm like, it's not a good thing, I don't think. But
yeah. I mean, but there's also that fear of retaliation, and you never know what
right,
tensions are high all over the place,
especially
and
here.
especially here, and you just never know how people are going to react to shit. And they tell you now to just like let it go, like road rage.
Yep,
Road rage leads to all sorts of like scary altercations and aggressions, and they say to just like leave it be, like
yep,
don't worry about it, like just leave it alone. It's not worth it, and because you never know. Because I've seen these videos, I've heard about these incidences where people will like pull their car over and then get a gun and start like
yep.
firing it at the person that like was being aggressive at them. And I'd like to avoid that.
I would too, and I'd like for you to avoid that.
I'd like for you to avoid that as well. I'd like for everyone to everyone involved in this show and anyone listening
We hope that, yeah, we want you to avoid that.
want you to avoid that.
You know who's really good at not getting baited into road rage is Mike Falzone.
Dude, I
Uh,
know.
he is like a Sherpa when it comes to driving, and
Yeah.
just has like it's like a I don't know if it was the way he was raised that was better, but like he
Yeah.
has this understanding of like it is not worth it to engage with
Well,
this
he's
person.
also like one of the most careful drivers I know.
Yeah, to the point that it's like I
It's
feel like he's trying to want like it's intimidating how good he
yeah.
is.
Well, and he'll aggressively follow the speed limit.
Yeah.
He aggressively follows it.
Does he go 5 over? I mean, he does the typical like
I don't know. I've never seen it personally.
wow.
He's just a very careful driver, and I think, and you know what, I'm like kind of aggressive
Are you? I was gonna ask. Okay.
when I just go fast. I go fast because I'm like, I don't have time for this shit. I don't
Yeah.
have time. I got to get to my destination, or I got to get someone to their destination. I'm driving with a purpose, you know, like I'm
Yeah.
not doing this to just have a fun time. I don't drive for fun anymore.
Mm-mm.
There used to be a time where I was like, I love driving. I'll drive anyone anywhere. You need to go to the airport? I'm there, buddy. Let's go. But now I'm
Wow.
just like, I don't want to do it. But I'll, you know, and the few times I've driven Mike places, he's definitely commented on my driving.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
And you know, I would like to think that I'm careful, but I'm like a little aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not angry, but I'm like, you know, like I'll be on the I have quite a commute these days, Elliot, from
I know.
the DB offices back to Long Beach.
You
And
get there in 15 minutes.
yeah, 15 minutes, no problem. I'm just smashing cars, just scraping the sides of cars. God, that would be a dream if I could get there in 15 minutes. God. And I do realize how easy I had it when I could just walk over to Mike's, and I
Yeah.
miss that. I miss doing that. Definitely. I was considering like parking back where I used to live and then just walking there, walking to Mike's from there.
Right.
But that's like, you know, that's stupid. That's
Yeah.
about as stupid as that fish flopping and trying to flop over to the ocean.
Moron, dude.
Yeah, idiot.
Doesn't get a lot dumber. Did you see any penguins?
I did. Well, you know, I wanted to see like proper penguins, like emperor penguins and stuff, but basically they have puffins.
Cute enough though. Holy crap, those things are adorable.
Definitely. And I was noticing that thing that a lot of people probably notice when they see birds, like birds. I think there are also mammals and other creatures. Well, help me out here, because you were the potential zoologist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, I was noticing about the puffins in general, specifically, that the boys are the ones that have like those like weird looking, like kind of like big thicker beaks.
Oh,
And the
okay.
girls are the ones that have like just like regular little thin like bird beaks. And I was noticing that like you know, the boy birds, or like a lot of the male of those species, or those types of species, are like a little more showy. They're like a little prettier, or they have like a little more of a
Yeah.
unique facial feature, or coloration or something. And the girls are usually the like dull looking ones. Do you notice this? Do you know about this?
I mean, I'm familiar with not with puffins, but I mean, I'm familiar with one sex being like, you know, the showy one, like
Yeah,
peacocks
yeah,
or
but it's
whatever.
usually the males for some reason in the animal kingdom. It's a lot of times they,
Yeah.
you know, the male
Like
lion
a
is
lion.
big mane, yeah, and the girl lions are just, they, you know, they look like big kitty cats basically. Uh, and you know, it's because they want to attract the females with their plumage,
Yeah.
so to speak. And it's so interesting to me that there's a lot of birds, I think, that are like that, where they're super colorful and like
Mm-hmm.
it's like really like attractive things going on, and it's also so that they can attract the female. And I was like, that's interesting, because I always feel like in our species, the girl female of the species is the prettier of
Yeah.
us, and it would make more sense to me if in the animal kingdom that the girl creature was like super gorgeous, beautiful plumage, whatever, and the guys have like sort of something, but they have to go the extra mile to find a mate, like they have to do their dance and they have to do their like
Mm-hmm.
watch what I can do with my feathers type shit.
Love that
And
stuff.
yeah, and the version of that we do is we go to the club
Mm-hmm.
and we go to the club and we dance and we show off our dance skills and maybe the female of the species, because there's two genders.
Only.
And the female of the species sees these males dancing and they're like, ooh, that's titillating.
And we have like a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll try to be like, "Hi, we're pretty funny," and that makes you laugh, which makes you feel safe. Please.
Do animals have a sense of humor?
I like to think so. Maybe that catfish was just being a goof.
It was a catfish?
Yeah, catfish flopping around on sand.
So you don't even know if that's what it really was. It could have been catfishing you.
That's a good point, Steve.
Do you think
Anyway,
catfish
thank
know
you
about
everyone for joining
catfish?
us.
Appreciate you guys for listening.
Thank you for listening, guys. This has
Thank you
been
for
really
listening.
great.
Like, dude, imagine you're at like you bump into a friend at a shop or something. It's like, all right, well, thanks for listening.
Thank you for
I
listening.
gotta go. It's time for me to go now.
Everyone
yeah.
send love to Joe. Joe Beretta is out and taking care of family. So we're wishing him the best from afar.
Yeah, he's dealing with some family stuff, and we love Joe, and he's a hardworking boy, and yeah, I second that. Please send some love to your boy Joe
It's
Beretta, from Barats and Beretta.
from Bratz and Beretta.
But yeah, I saw puffins, and that was really cute. And they had like a frog. They have a frog exhibit going on there, Elliot. There's frogs.
I like frogs too, dude.
Love them. I fucking love frogs. And I'm like, dude, I gotta go to this fucking. This is the first time I've been to the aquarium while I've been living here in Long Beach, and I've been longing for that aquarium.
Nice.
You know what I mean? And but I'm like, I don't want to do all the fun shit all around me and then get sick of it and want to get out.
Yeah,
But
you want to save some.
I wanted to save some, but I was like, you know what? It's time. It's time. Because what happens if this frog thing goes away? They change their special exhibits all the time.
And there's certain frog species can actually change their sexes.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm. And the DNA is used to intersplice into dinosaur DNA that comes from mosquitoes that get caught in the sap of a tree. And so it can result in dinosaurs that rather than being all female or all male, they actually spontaneously will, and you can end up with a very bad situation where dinosaurs are mating even in captivity as a result of these frogs. And then you might have people coming to check out your theme park, and you're unaware of this mistake that was made in the splicing of the DNA, and then next thing you know, the whole system's getting shut down. The raptors are escaping, and then you got to get on a helicopter and get the heck out of there, and then you have to come up with 19 other ways to do that same plot,
right, and keep coming back.
So are you excited about the new Jurassic World?
Well, no, but
okay, great.
But I did hear something that was a little exciting about it, which was that they said that they were gonna use some scenes that were from the original book that were not in the original movie, and they're gonna do that in this one, which I'm like, all right, they've squeezed everything out of that original book, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah. And it's I guess the same writer as
the OG.
Yeah, the original.
Maybe David Koepp.
I don't know.
Probably David Koepp.
Do you want to hold frogs? Do you? I do.
I do. I do.
You would hold it?
I withhold everything about frogs on this show. I will withhold everything. Everything I know about frogs.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
No, I learned some stuff about frogs, and I was like, it's always interesting to see the ones that are like, where is that fucker? You're like looking
Right.
in the
And there
tank,
you
and you're like really looking, and then you like, with your friends, you're like, all right, first person who finds it gets a lollipop.
Yeah. How big were they?
Well,
What are we
some
talking?
of them were. There was one that was like maybe this big, like you could like fucking like
Yeah.
two-hander.
Like a frog or a toad?
Well,
Steve's holding like a grapefruit size frog.
yeah, like big boy. I saw one in there, and I actually put him on my story, on my Instagram story,
I
because
don't follow you. So.
that was a big boy. Oh, you should follow me. Sometimes I put some interesting stuff in there.
Steve Zara.
Yeah,
What is it? Zaragoza?
Zaragoza.
I followed Steven Suptic today on Instagram.
And you hadn't before?
Apparently not. He was following. I was like,
Oh
oh,
my God. All
dude.
right. Well, better late than never. Look at this guy.
Yeah, that's great, dude.
That's a big guy. I can't, and the sense of scale isn't quite there, but that is a very big boy. And I was all about it. I was like, and I loved seeing the frogs that just like they blend into the scenery, and that they're hard to find. And you got to think
This
that let me see.
this little guy.
That's an axolotl.
Yeah, that's how you say it. I know. I never know how to say it.
Yeah, axolotl. Those you said those frogs were able to change their sexes. We should put a stop to that.
I know. I think there's legislation getting
Is
introduced.
there a way? Okay, that's good because that's not in my Bible. So
That's not my Bible.
that's not my Bible. But
Dude,
yes, excuse me. I'm not done talking about frogs.
please.
And I will say that I was really interested in the ones that were like blended into their little captivity,
Yeah.
their little aquariums or whatever. And I was like, that's really cool. That's totally so that predator, like, there's no way. Like, if it took us forever to find that fucker in there,
Yeah.
there's no way the predators are finding them. So I love that. And then there were these little boys, these little tiny guys, so cute. They look like full-grown frogs, or they're like that fucking big.
Cool.
And they're like bright red or like bright green
Yeah.
or bright yellow. And they're hanging out in this environment where definitely you see them. And I'm like, that's crazy. There's the frogs that are like super camouflaged, and then there's the ones that are like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. And it's because, do you know why?
Well, isn't one so that they can be camouflaged, but the others to be a warning, to be like,
Yeah.
I'll poison you if you eat me?
Yeah, they're poison. The most poisonous ones are like the brightest colored ones.
Isn't that crazy?
I love that. And they're just basically like, we don't give a fuck. It's like literally like wearing a gun on your, like on a strap, like having like a gun,
Yeah,
a visible
open carry.
gun.
Yeah.
They're like the open carry creatures of the animal kingdom. And it's like, oh no, I'm not gonna fuck with that. Like, if I saw some guy walking around the street and he had like a bandolier with like a gun and like bullets all up on it, I'd be
Yeah.
like, not fucking with that guy.
Yeah.
So
And
I
if he
love
looked like
that.
a big frog, if he looked like a big red frog and he
If
was
you look
holding a gun.
I'd be even more inclined to leave him alone.
Yeah.
Although I would
James
be
Gunn
curious.
character.
If I saw a big red frog, like a big human-sized red frog, I think I don't know. I'd be like, damn,
I'd
I
turn-
kind of want to.
I go the other way.
Really?
I
You had
wouldn't.
nothing
I
to
would
do
be
with
like,
it.
that's scary.
I
would.
I want to follow you. I want to follow you around with a camera and not talk to you.
Yeah.
And just have you walk around, and then you notice off in the distance unbelievable, impossibly giant frog. You just kind of look at it, you notice, and you're like, oh, yeah. And then you just turn around and go,
Yeah. It'd be that Simpsons gif of walking in, putting
yeah,
the hat,
into the
grabbing the hat.
bushes. But would you think about it though?
Mm-hmm.
You would think about it after
For
that.
the rest of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You'd be like, I saw a big giant fucking frog.
And people would be like, what'd you do? And I'd be like, oh, I left.
I left. Would you so what if there was like reports, like, there were news reports and they're like big giant frog sighted in downtown
Mhm.
LA, big giant frog, and they're like scientists, officials have lost sight of it. They don't know where it went.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then they're like, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll let you guys know. And what if you never heard about it ever again? Would you regret not like looking into it? Or do you think you made the right decision not going near it.
I don't know. It's really, we have so much going on right now.
We do have so. You didn't want to add giant frogs.
I don't know.
into the mix.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll get to that. Like 6 months later, I'd be like, Grace, do you remember that when they said there was a giant frog downtown LA? We've never heard from it again. And she'd be like, she's like, I don't keep up with the news.
I don't
like,
give a shit about a giant frog.
No, she's like, I don't give a shit. She'd be like, who are you?
We have bills to pay.
We have bills to pay,
grocery shopping.
I'm like, yeah, I was just thinking about it. I was thinking about the frog for a second.
Oh, here we go with the giant frog again.
You always do this. Every time I bring up the giant frog, you act like I'm some big problem or that I need to be focusing on paying bills when you could just be paying attention to the news and I wouldn't have to bring it up so I don't start to feel crazy.
Sometimes I feel crazy when because, if I saw a giant frog, it would change my life.
I don't know how, but it would change it.
I feel crazy because I think some people would just be like, whatever.
Do you remember?
Most people would be like, whatever. Like with UFOs, like we were talking about the aliens and shit. Like if aliens came here and there was proof of it, there would be people that don't give a shit.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
There would be people that absolutely would not give a shit.
Yep.
And
that's not good.
I don't know why that's so upsetting to me.
It's we're all dissociated.
We're dissociated.
So it's like we can't. If you find that out, you're just like, it doesn't hit you on a deep level. Nothing hits us on a deep level because we're all worn down to a nub.
What would it take? It would literally
a giant frog, probably.
It'd take a giant frog to unite us all.
Yeah.
What would Trump say about the giant frog?
He's very impressed with the giant frog.
I've never seen a frog that big.
I mean, he's a successful giant frog. He's got a lot going for him.
I didn't know they made him that big. He wouldn't even be.
Did you see? Never. We won't get into that.
I can't tell. I can't tell anymore if people are just freaking out about shit or if it's really. Because, remember when we did the first 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like endless, scary shit, coming out of the news cycle. And everyone was just like, all of our friends were just like, we're fucked. We are fucked. And then here we are, like years later. And we're back to being like, we're fucked. Like I can't lock in, Elliot.
No,
I'm not locked in because I feel like, am I supposed to just be like, well, we did this already, so if I just keep my head down and do and not make any noise, like I can get through this 4 years like I did the first time.
Yeah, you're going camouflage frog.
Yeah, I'm going camo frog because I'm trying to hide from the predators.
Yeah.
And maybe that's fine, but I've been reading so much insane shit and I can't comprehend if I should be doing something about it.
Right. What would you do?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Did I tell you I got rid of TikTok and Twitter?
No. Whoa.
I deactivated.
Full deleted?
Yeah, full delete. I fully deactivated my Twitter account.
Does that mean like if I search Steve Zaragoza, I don't follow you on those, but like if I did search Steve Zaragoza, just nothing would come up on.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it might still be there because there's like a 60-day deactivation thing or a 30-day deactivation thing. Yeah, tell me what you see when you do that.
It's a bad time to because I just released that 3-hour content nuke on you that shows how terrible you are. And there's a lot of like discourse happening on X. I was surprised that you didn't
Yeah, I just wanted to completely avoid it.
So now if you punch if you go to X dumbass name for a social media site. If you go to X and you type in Steve Zaragoza, the second suggestion is not Steve Zaragoza is the username, and
Uh-huh.
the handle is I hate Phil DeFranco. So I think you are still
Yeah, so the account will still be there, but I think it'll go away real soon.
and it looks like I hate Steve Zaragoza got hacked by someone trying to sell us Ray-Bans for $25. But the last tweet they made was in 2017. Philip DeFranco always has to be first player, frowny face. And then on July 14th, it said Philip DeFranco leaves the brown M&Ms in the bowl for someone else, SMH. Is this you?
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah,
What is that? That's
I wish
real?
I hadn't. That would be. I wish I would have rather seen a giant frog than seen that
That
profile.
sounds like the kind of thing we did back in the day as a funny bit. Like,
Right. Well, didn't we used to like try to get in arguments and stuff before when the internet was fun?
yeah,
It's still fun.
it's still fun, but it feels like a drug.
Yeah.
And you're like, should I be doing this again today?
So what made you Grace is reading a book right now like called like Why You Should Delete All Your Social Media.
Yeah.
It's like a popular book, but what was there a reason for you deleting both these?
Yeah, actually,
Running.
I was doom scrolling
Mm-hmm.
and like you do. And I was just it was just like garbage shit, you know? And it was just garbage headlines and garbage arguments and garbage hate and fear and it started to make me feel really sick, like physically sick.
Wow.
And then all that fucking Elon Musk shit like really was the kicker for me cuz I was like, if this guy was like really doing that to be like now we're in charge and look at us and like to really like activate a group of people that are hate filled and awful, then I really didn't want to be around. I didn't want to I didn't want to do anything that would benefit that person.
Are you talking about the Nazi thing?
Yeah.
Do you think he was doing it to activate Nazis?
Well, I think that whether or not he was doing it to activate Nazis, it definitely did.
Mm-hmm. Did you see
And
that like minister or whatever that like got up before
yeah,
Reagan? It's like really
yeah,
gross. It's this it's a very like man, I guess some people just don't leave that level of like uh edgy. What's it called?
yeah, yeah, edge lord
Edge lord,
cringe.
yeah.
It's like shit domino. It's like shit dominoes,
Yeah.
like dominoes made out of shit,
Yeah.
and they're all just like, and it's all shit assholes.
Like a Goldberg, what is it?
Yeah, Rube
Machine.
Goldberg, but it's all
Rube,
made out of poop and
but it's all
vomit
poop.
and piss and like all this gross shit. And it is. It feels like a chain reaction, and I don't know if it's because like we're starting to get to a point where like I used to be alive when there wasn't the internet,
Yeah.
and you know like it's hard to remember like what life was really like. It felt quiet and like
Mm-hmm.
isolated in a good way.
Yep.
And it felt like your community was all that mattered, really. And then the outside of the world was like secondary to like your family and your neighbors and your
Mm-hmm.
town. And now it's like endless everything and endless everybody. And there's just so many types of people, and the loudest ones are like rewarded. And I think that like Elon Musk is so loud and in the most annoying way. And even if what he was doing was like a joke or a troll or whatever, it's disgusting and isn't funny or good, because a lot of people are terrified for their lives. And it just made me feel really sick. And I was like, I started to type out this thing that was just like, he just wants us to talk about him. He just wants to be talked about. He wants to be
Mhm.
in everyone's minds, and it's the most narcissistic thing that exists, essentially. And I was just writing out this thing that was like, if we stop giving it to him, I think he'll shut the fuck up eventually.
Good for
But
you.
then I was like, I don't need to say anything, and I hate when people go like, "I'm leaving Twitter
I was
now."
gonna ask if you did that whole, yeah, that like
No,
I'm doing it because I
I
uh
thought, yeah,
don't want attention, so let me make this thing that's gonna give me.
yeah, I know, and the thing is it's like it's kind of a double-edged sword in a way because we had and have an audience, and we may not have as many followers as we used to,
What?
but no, uh-oh.
That's just because we haven't activated them yet.
They're waiting for the heart goes out to
The
you,
sign, the signal.
the signal. But
When you, yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, I wanted to like type out something, but then I was like, nobody gives a shit. And
Now,
they're always so annoying when someone's like, this is why I'm leaving and I'm leaving. Look at me now. But
right.
then on the other hand, I wanted to use like this final message as a way to be like, let's just all stop like giving this person attention. And like I thought maybe at the very least it could like motivate my small audience. But then I was thinking like, well, my small audience already knows that this guy's a piece of shit and like is gross and fucked up and is horrible. And so I was like, echo chamber. So I deleted it, and then I deleted TikTok right after.
Did you, can I ask you this? And I don't know if you are comfortable sharing this. I think we've
Sure.
talked about it. You've been pretty open about it, but did you also sell your Doge coin? Doge?
I kind of have forgotten about it. I leave it
Fair
alone
enough.
and I forget about it. I did see that there might be some too much of a connection to certain individuals that are connected to the thing that I am trying to avoid and get away from. But I was also like, if I'm gonna fucking die someday and nothing I do will really matter, and I might as well like use this like gross piece of shit as a way to like make a little bit of money and fuck off and like
Yeah.
and because there's no heaven, there's no hell, there's no consequences to any of this shit. It feels like there's no karma, there's no like, so it's like on the one hand like
Oh, dude, you are so getting reincarnated as a frog. Dude.
and, and one that's easy to see and isn't
Yeah.
poisonous. But I can't help but feel like none of that exists because these like these 14 billionaires that are all backing this like crazy regime, they don't give a shit and they don't have empathy and it doesn't matter and there's no consequences to any of that.
Yeah.
And so I can't keep believing that there's consequences to anything. But it won't stop me from being kind to people and doing the best that I can to make people laugh and laugh myself and laugh at myself and laugh at the horrible tragedies of this world because there's nothing else we can do and there's no consequences and nothing matters.
There is this theory called evolutionary panentheism, in which evolution itself is an unfolding of a kind of intelligence or God. So panentheism is like God in everything, pan like pandemic, and then and then theism. And there's this idea that the purpose of life for us as human beings is to be observers and to have experiences so that we are essentially agents of this cosmos, and our role is to be nature observing itself, to be nature experiencing all of the varied experiences that can happen in this particular simulation. And I wonder sometimes if our constantly being on our phones and being in these algorithms, really it's the algorithms, we are uh, dulling the variety of experiences that we have because we're all in the same algorithms, more or less. Like we're all like when we get on this podcast, we'll talk about the same posts we saw on Reddit or
Right.
the same news stories. And we're becoming homogenized with our intake. And I think that when you delete something like social media, it allows you to just have slightly different experiences, even if that different experience is taking a walk or reading a book or doing something. It is it's more beneficial to the universe as a whole to not be flowing down an algorithm with everyone at the same time.
Wow. I actually that's a really interesting theory.
It's fun.
Because and I love all of these theories because I love being stimulated by potential what ifs about our existence, and that's really cool. And it makes me think that like, because what's the nefarious thing behind that?
The devil.
Like, what's the and and how could that be utilized in a way? Because we're so battered by just even the past of people being led to believe a certain thing and then having the wool pulled from their eyes essentially, and then learning that they were scammed or learning that there was some selfish reason why that they were doing a certain thing, and because of that it feels like I'm so like that's probably why conspiracy theories in general are so popular, because it validates this feeling that everything we're doing is benefiting some higher power that's in control and doing some nefarious thing, because
Mm-hmm.
we don't have a world where we can just trust each other. We don't
Mm-hmm.
live in a world where we can just trust each other. And why is that? And it's because there are people that have figured out ways to kind of like manipulate a large amount of people and funnel money into them by doing that manipulation. And so it makes me wonder that if our job in this particular theory, if our job as humans was to just observe nature and to observe these like these incidences, but we're being distracted from that with these algorithm and participating in this algorithm, does that mean that there's a nefarious controller behind the algorithm that is specifically attempting to distract us from observing nature?
I mean, they would be the Matrix, the architect. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess so.
It's
But
like
it would be like
AI.
it would be like a Zuck or a Musk, right? It would be these guys who are like their job is to keep your attention. Like that's they
Right.
like we're in the attention economy now. So everyone like doing a podcast is like we just want your attention. Like we're giving like people give us attention, and when they do that, they're not giving anything else attention, so they're not having a different experience. But I hope people continue to listen to this because this is the best experience you're ever going to have is
Well,
listening
and
about
yeah, yeah. Yeah, this podcast specifically.
this one. Yeah.
But the thing is like we're all like funneling attention to benefit ourselves in some way in every day in every way, whether it be because weren't loved enough and need love and nurturing and whatever, or we're just inherently evolutionarily inclined to be nurtured, and we're programmed to want to be nurtured
Mm-hmm.
and loved and listened to and paid attention to and respected. And then we have these like billionaires that are like standing behind the president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they're there is because they created these algorithms, or they perpetuated these algorithms that has shifted attention to the algorithms and participation in the algorithm rather than participation in enjoying life.
Mm-hmm.
And they directly benefit from it and become billionaires because of it and get money every day, like unfathomable money every day. And why would they want to stop doing that?
Yeah.
Why would they want to stop making money when they look at their bank account and they see billions? Why would they want that to stop?
I know. I love the idea of like when people are like, if I had $1 billion, I would just go live on an
You'd
island.
never see me
But
again.
I
Yeah.
don't think that's the case, because
Right.
it's like it perpetuates itself and you're like, you can always have more. And then it
Yeah.
becomes like, my buddy Pete will talk about this when he talks about, I think it like we did a thing on Marx, and it was like the there was a shift that happened where it's not even that we value the things now, we just value an abstract thing called money. So like a billionaire, you get to a certain point where or like with crypto, you just want to see the number go up, but it's just the number. Like it's not the value that you can get from the money, like from the number. It's like it doesn't really exist. It's just a number, and
It's
then
a
that's
made
where
up
you
thing.
get your like drive, is just seeing that thing grow. But you're not taking that stuff and buying things. You're just wanting it and like hoarding it.
Right,
um,
right. And it comes from seeing people in the past benefit from vast amounts of wealth and like um but it's crazy that everybody looks at the like, the people that have accumulated wealth and what it took for them to accumulate it, but they don't see how it ends
yeah,
most of the time, which is in like a disastrous bad way.
I think
And
about that when I buy like uh Grace had this credit for like justfab.com or
mm,
whatever.
never heard of it.
It's like a website. I think maybe I'd once heard of, but it was like, she's like, I have these credits, pick out like some shoes that you want, and they were like $10. And I was like, oh, this is a great example of like buying something and it's so dirt cheap that it got made in like probably terrible conditions, but it's so far away, like those terrible conditions and those people that are doing that like I don't have to feel any
Right.
guilt over
They're
it.
gonna do it anyway, whether I buy the shoes or not.
Yeah, and it's like Amazon is like the most convenient thing in the world, and that's like where I'm just feeding
Yeah.
Bezos
Yeah.
constantly.
It's so hard, dude. It's so hard because we want to push against the like extreme capitalism, the capitalist like concept because we know that it hurts people and it hurts like but there's like no way out of it
Yeah,
unless you want to like live a life that would be harder to live.
even if you go off the grid, like your life is still dictated by capitalism. It's
Right.
just you're pushing against it harder,
Right.
but it's still like I don't know. This is a
Like we're
deep, fun,
trapped.
deep
We're
conversation.
trapped and we're also like in the middle of a collapse of it, it feels like.
It's a trap collapse.
It's a collapse. It was my favorite game as a kid. Have
It's a
you heard
trap collapse of
have,
the classes.
have you heard that thing about like how every 250 years there's like a collapse of government or a collapse of power?
No, I haven't heard 250 years.
Yeah, I was reading something that there's like 200 every 250 years there's some great collapse of power and we're in like we're now like 248 years from like the last collapse of a government.
It's coming.
Yeah.
And then like the climate scientists are like, we're moving the doomsday clock up again. And I'm like, well, it's just what
But
I don't know about the doomsday
I
clock thing.
know. I know. The doomsday clock thing has always been around and I've never
Yeah,
really understood it. Like I know it's supposed to be like an indicator of how close we are to like a nuclear.
right. Or like climate catastrophe. Well, we're in climate catastrophe.
Right.
Did you see any way dolphins?
No, I wanted to see
Hmm.
dolphins though. There were sea lions
Oh,
and there were sea otters. There were sea
oh,
otters. And God, they're so cute. And you can just watch them. You just
yeah.
watch them for hours.
Best. One of the best animals for
There's
sure.
so many things at this particular aquarium that you could just stand there and watch for
Yeah.
hours. Like just be like amazed by this ecosystem, this little ecosystem you're looking at.
It gives me almost not anxiety, but it's pressure when I'm there, because I will sit and just watch like the fish just swim. But then there's this, I'm like, if I turn around, there's something else I can just watch for a long time. And
Right.
it's like I go into these aquariums. I'm like, this is going to be like on the scale of 1 to 10, at best, like a 7 in
Right.
terms of fun. But then I'm there and I'm just like hypnotized.
Yeah, no, totally. And the crazy part is that like a lot of these aquariums are they're meant they're kind of like their primary um dr- like they really try to make it like kid oriented
Yeah.
first. As a result of that, there's like kids everywhere and there's fucking screens everywhere. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe how many fucking screens there were.
What do you
Little
mean?
iPad, there's just little iPad, like you
Oh,
like I would say it's like
kiosk things like around.
yeah,
Yeah.
but there's like like I went into this room where there was like a wall-sized screen with like animated fish and creatures and stuff. And then there were all these like little iPads like all over that you could like fuck with, and it would like fuck with the big screen on the
Cool.
thing. And I was like, man, this is like crazy. Like this is part of that thing we were saying where we're like all kind of like part of that algorithm or whatever. And I was like, man, it's so crazy to go from watching this little 11-minute video about the oceans and the symbiotic relationship that we have with every living thing on the earth, and then it's saying climate change is destroying it and all of that, and then going into a room full of screens and iPads and being like, I kind of the message is a little like, unclear, but I understand that if you want to be an aquarium that is its main focus is to educate the youth and educate people about the world and the oceans and how important it is to protect the oceans, and then I know you have to have like things that kids recognize and
Yeah.
aren't bored by, because if it was just all of these aquarium tanks with fish, it's like the kids would be like, "Where's my iPad? I
And
want to watch."
they got to engage. Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand that they have to grow and evolve with what people want, and they kids want iPad screens and touch screens and
Yeah.
shit, and it's
But I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not. I've heard that you could recycle every day of your life, every single from the time you're a baby to the time you're 100 years old, and do nonstop, maybe multiple lifetimes. You could recycle every single thing, have no carbon footprint, and you would still not make up for one cruise ship taking one cruise. So I'm not too worried about the aquarium having that.
that's kind of what I keep. It's the unfortunate.
I don't know if it's true either. I just hear things and then repeat them
Yeah,
as if they're
yeah,
true.
yeah.
I made up the idea of evolutionary panentheism. I've never even heard like that. That I didn't think.
Well, it's genius. I love it.
Thank you. I'm gonna write it down.
And I am now following it. I'm a follower of that theory. I know, man. I can't help but keep hitting this wall of like, I want to delete TikTok and Twitter and next is Amazon. Like I want to get rid of Amazon. I want to stop using Amazon. Like I have a friend who stopped using Amazon, but now they use Target for everything.
That sounds. I mean, hey,
Like right, but it's just another fucking thing that's and then like I was reading this thread about it, and someone and people were kind of coming to the same conclusions, like I'm gonna get rid of this, I'm gonna get rid of this, I'm gonna get rid of this, and they're like, I'm gonna stop going to Whole Foods because they've been donating to this or whatever, or they like and I'm gonna stop using Meta because fucking Zuckerberg took tampon machines out of the male bathrooms, and but then and they're like, well, I'm gonna go to Trader Joe's, and like, well, guess what, Trader Joe's doesn't like unions. They don't let people unionize, and there's just all this like, oh sure, you could do that, but guess what, those people do this, and guess what, those people do that. So it's like, and it's like, we're recycling and conserving water, and we keep hearing that there's a drought, so stop using your don't turn your take a 15-minute shower max and leave your air conditioning on for half of the day and then turn it off the whole rest of the day. And it's like all this shit, but it's like, how many people are actually doing that? And not only that, and what does it matter if we don't do it? If
Yeah.
I do it, what is it? Virtue signaling? It's like I do it and then
Yeah.
I go to my friends and go, guess what? I take 15-minute showers now and I don't shop at Whole Foods and I canceled TikTok and all this
Yep.
shit. And it's like, but who gives a shit? What do you want me to do? Give you a medal? No one actually cares that I'm not on Twitter anymore. But it
Well,
makes me feel a little bit better that I don't have yet another social media thing to doom scroll on for hours. But now I doom scroll on Reddit.
did you? Yeah, exactly. Did you? Which I do too, and it's fun. And I still argue with people on Reddit, and I'm having a great time doing it.
Yeah, me too. But then I'm like, is this an echo chamber? How much of the world is this? And
I'll
like, am
also
I?
get on depth psychological forums, and I'll be like answering people's questions, and they
Yeah,
don't know that I'm just a dork.
you're just so dark.
Doing
But at least
yeah.
you're educated. Don't you have like a
It's
doctorate or
fun.
something?
It's a healthier thing than when I argue with people about,
It
I don't
is.
know, alien bodies. Because, dude, that subreddit is insane. Like, someone should do a study just on these Nazca alien
There's
mummies.
still
It is,
people that are leaning into those
yeah.
mummies.
And, dude, I have my
We
pet
have to move
conspiracy
on from
theory.
the mummies. We have to move on from the mummies.
No, these people are like, these they have all names. And dude, I have a conspiracy theory myself
Okay.
that a
All right.
lot of these people that post, if you go to this subreddit, it's like the same four people every day that are like, here's another video
Sharing
of the
articles and videos.
X-ray. Yeah, and I'm like, are these people the sign, like the people doing it? Like I truly believe that these people on this subreddit are the same people that are with the mummies, like, and that some of them
Yeah.
kind of like almost hint at it, and I'm like, you, you're like, and
So
then I'll
they
try to
don't want
explain
it to
like the
die.
scientific method to them, and they don't get it. They're like, or like what peer review is. People think peer review is just like, well, this is a peer reviewed thing because other people looked at it. That's not how peer review works. And I explain it to these people, and they'll just be like, no, no, these are
Because
real these are alien mummies, and they're and they're legit, and this one's pregnant, and it's got eggs inside it, and it's like, what the?
but so if it is the people that originally were a part of the discovery of these mummies, do you think they actually found like alien mummies, or do you think they're perpetuating some kind of grift?
I think it's a mix of both, and I think that some of them for sure know that this is not legit, and then I think there's a subset of like true believers who are like, no, like this is these are all real, and those are the people that are the scariest, or the people that are like, this
That
is
that
actually the
believe
people that are scariest
100%.
is the grifters, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
that should be the word for, like, you know how Webster releases a word a year. Grifter
Yeah.
should be
Dude,
the
you're
thing.
absolutely right. I think that's a big buzzword
Yeah.
for this year.
Anyway,
What are the intellectuals saying about the current political climate?
I only watch Majority Report. Do you know who that is?
No.
Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland, and they're not doing great. They're not happy about it. They're pretty upset with the Democratic Party.
God. We just need someone to like lead us into we need someone to like rally us.
Well, I was venting to like Joe, I think, because he'll get upset about the other side of the political aisle, and I was like, we just had our minority leader, the Democrat Hakeem Jeffries. Like, they did this year, they're like, democracy is going to crumble if we allow this man to get elected. And then Hakeem Jeffries put out a tweet on X that was like, presidents come and presidents go. What's important is God is on the throne. And I'm like, what?
Man. God
What?
can't
You were just saying that the whole world was going to crumble.
That's the other thing, man. I like all of this, like all of the like fear mongering. Like I can't make, I can't lock into what I can't, there's no way to know what's true anymore.
No, there's not. We're in a post-truth
It's
society.
crazy.
I love it.
It's absolute pandemonium.
I actually disagree with you and Joe that things are not going well. I'm actually pretty stoked about everything.
I'd love to be there. I'd love to be where in that train of thought because
Yeah.
I don't want to feel a crushing pressure of doom. And like I don't want to feel that every day. And I don't and like
Maybe this is why the cat keeps biting you.
it can feel the pressures
Yeah.
of society. But I'm trying not to spiral because you know that won't help anybody and that'll just ruin my this like gift of life that we have, which is like a gift, simultaneously a gift and a curse, because it's like we can make this life whatever we want it to be if we work towards a certain, if we follow all the rules under this societal thing, and which doesn't seem so hard to do if you you know keep your head down and shit, but it's also like, but I don't know what's true anymore, and I don't know if we're freaking out for no reason because everyone's just doesn't like the orange Cheeto, and I don't know. I don't know if it, and does are there people that think we're totally fine and are smiling through every single day, like like how do we get there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great question, Steve. I'm not sure. When did you make a sudden decision to do these things? Did you do them at the same time? Did you do like a?
I did it. I did it at the same time.
And had you been thinking about it for a while, or was it immediate? Like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna.
Well, it was really just the first couple of days of this new presidency that like led me down to the decision because again, I was doom scrolling, I was reading all the news, I was reading what was going on, what divisions are being shut down that are helpful for the environment and the world and human health. And I'm just like this isn't this is just going to get worse. And so I was like, I can't fix it. I can't stop it. So I have to just take this little bit of life I likely have left and just find joy.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And Twitter and TikTok gave me fake joy.
Yeah, dopamine.
They gave me the dopamine. And what gives me better joy is to spend an entire day with the people I love the most, high as balls at an aquarium.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
And that made me really happy, and yesterday was a really wonderful day. And I was just like, and I spent none of it on the internet.
Oh.
And I was like, maybe the answer the whole time really was to just fucking touch grass.
Yeah, it's a good phrase. Always been a fan of it ever since I heard it the first time.
Yeah, it's definitely been weaponized.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a good one too, because it is like a good. Just go outside.
Just go outside.
I will say that just a quick follow up. I did spend some time going into the channel that we talked about last week.
Which, by the way, the episode ended with me saying the name of the channel, but I cut it off because we don't need to tell people what it is.
I have more fun talking about it, knowing that it's, and I apologize if listening to it is frustrating. Just like, what channel is it? But I promise it's for the best.
Just pick one. Just pick one.
Yeah,
and I think the sentiment is exactly the same.
You can, it's an archetypal format of a type of channel. But your buddy Jesse.
Oh, Jesse, Jesse Stillwell.
Yes, he DM'd me and gave me I would say a short novel on kind of the rundown. And I have not worked myself up to going through the links. It's sort of like almost it could have been a PowerPoint of like, here's a timestamp, check this out. You're gonna want this. Here's the story that Steven mentioned, and I am slowly getting into it, and
Oh no.
it is, and Grace is like will not be in the room when I
Good.
turn it.
So Grace is doing it the right way.
Yeah, and
It's
I'm not.
best to just turn the other way. Like I know it's really enticing. And then
Yeah.
you look at it and you're like, God damn.
That is the the exact emotion. Yeah.
But and I get it. Like I want to sit down with you and watch those also and just laugh and have a time.
It
But
also hurts. Like it hurts my heart.
It hurts. Yeah.
And now
Because
it's in my algorithm. So when I turn on like the TV and I got YouTube on there, it's like Majority Report, skies falling. Also, we went to
also
Target.
this. New Target opened up in Spring Fork.
Anyway,
Spring Fork, Wisconsin. And we're here for the grand opening. They're giving away free cookies to the first 50 people.
Anyway.
It's called